A season of thrilling finishes has come down to the finale. One game left, at home versus LSU, and a win could virtually guarantee them a trip to the college football playoffs. Will they win and return back to the CFP for the first time since 2019, or will the expectations become too much for the Sooners to overcome? Find out here on Gameday U.
Hello and welcome to the last Gameday U of the regular season, Oklahoma's only weekly football pregame show on TV. I'm your host, Cam Williams, and I'm joined alongside my esteemed analysts Michael Thompson, Hadley McPherson, and Andrew West. And this past weekend, the Sooners hosted Mizzou at home for the first time since 2011, and there was a special guest in the palace as the famous Dr. Stephen Shin, who successfully operated on John Mateer's thumb in October, was in attendance. Let's pick it up late second quarter, where Mateer is going to find Isaiah Satania on this crossing route in man coverage, and the former track star leaves the Mizzou defense in the dust for this 87-yard touchdown to put the Sooners up 7-3. Ensuing possession for the Sooners, and John Mateer on the RPO is going to find Giovanni Gibson for the 8-yard score, his first of the season. Sooners up 14-6 at the half. Third quarter now, and this was the defense's time to shine. Taylor Wine with the sack on Pavula, and later on in the fourth, Eli Bowen is going to pick him off, and the Sooners will go on to roll 17-6. Now the Sooners won in the Palace, holding Mizzou to 0 second-half points.
Yeah, Cam, and OU's defense continues to pass every test that comes their way. They held Ty Simpson in check and then stopped the best running back in college football. They are the number 11th defense in the country, and I expect them to be even more ready today to likely clinch their CFP spot.
Michael, you wouldn't have even known that Missouri had the leading rusher in the nation last Saturday. OU's defense held Ahmad Hardy to just 57 yards on 17 attempts, and 7 of those yards in the second half. Oklahoma's defense completely shut Hardy down.
Yeah, everyone wants to talk about the offense and the defense, but this special teams unit has been elite. Over 400 yards punting, pinning Mizzou in the 24 times, plus a blocked field goal, and Tate Sandell hitting his only field goal attempt on the day. That side of the ball was putting the Tigers in a tough spot all game.
Yeah, Andrew, this secondary embodied the bend but don't break mentality against Mizzou, and for junior defensive back Jacoby Johnson from Mustang, Oklahoma, having his teammates celebrate his success means a lot to him.
It definitely meant a lot. I seen almost everybody. They was hitting my helmet all the way to the sideline. It was like, oh, this is a great feeling. I mean, but that's how it feels like when you're a team. You know what I mean? Everybody celebrates everybody's success, and I know that I would do that for everybody else just as they would do it for me. So I feel like our team and our chemistry is really, really good.
The Oklahoma name has not been the force that Sooner fans recognize. Since Venables took the head coaching job, OU has lost nearly double the amount of games they did under Lincoln Riley. But as a playoff berth is in sight, Venables knows he is the one to bring back the Sooners to their glory days.
You know, I've given statements about where I think things are and what we need to do, and you know, what's the plan to make things better and back to the standards of this, you know, university's expectations and so forth. And so I carry the weight of that. And I get that. I have clear vision for that. But I didn't want anybody else to have to show up every day and carry that burden. I wanted to carry it.
OU's defensive line could be compared to a brick wall at this point. The D-line had 4 sacks and bottled up Bo Pavula effortlessly, and that is without our Mason Thomas. Senior Grayson Halton says he started from the bottom as a Sooner.
You know, when I came here, I didn't even know how to play defensive tackle, really. Didn't know what a 2-out was, a 3 was. So, you know, just overcoming, you know, a lot of obstacles, overcoming adversity, you know, and I couldn't do it alone. You know, Coach V, Coach Bates, you know, Coach Chavis, you know, all the coaching staff that's been here, you know, they helped me throughout the way. So I'm blessed to have them by my side.
We're close. 2 words that haunt Sooner fans. Well, those words come from a certain coach who was deemed an offensive mastermind. This time they are coming from a tight end who wears his wiener dog on his shirt. Zero shame there. If the Sooners want to be a real title contender, though, he says the offense better be close.
I feel like we left a lot out there, and we know that we can be a lot better in all those places. But you know, when you turn the film on, it's never as bad as you think, and it's obviously never as good as you think. And it just goes back to just a couple little things here and there. And I hate saying we're close, and I'm not going to say that, but we're close.
Great insight there from Kanik. And with the season of thanks upon us, fans have a lot to be thankful for. Gameday U reporter Darby McCormick has more on Turkey Day mixed with Game Day.
A game over Thanksgiving break to finish up the regular season. Coming up, we'll talk turkey and old teammates next on Gameday U.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready! We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back to Gameday U. As the Sooners face LSU this afternoon, most fans and families gathered this past week for a time of thanks. Gameday U reporter Darby McCormick has more on football and Thanksgiving.
During Thanksgiving, your food options probably go far beyond just the Baja Fresh and the Union. But for Team 131, festive food, along with the matchup against old teammates, is certainly something to be thankful for. The leaves are turning, some even falling off, which means it's time for the holidays, more specifically Thanksgiving.
Mashed potatoes and gravy is probably, I love that growing up. My dad makes me mashed potatoes and gravy, and then pumpkin pie goes crazy. I'm not a big green bean casserole guy. I know, I'm sorry guys. Just I try it every year and it's like, not for me.
Although it's a time for food, it's also a time for loved ones to get together.
My family's in town, so I think we're going to have a nice big old turkey and then sit around and be fat and jolly.
And Team 131 knows all about a good get-together. That includes their former teammates, of course. In this game day, they'll be seeing Bauer Sharp.
I haven't talked to him yet this week. I'm sure I'll talk to him at some point. But yeah, I was obviously good buddies with him, and sad to see him leave a great place like Oklahoma. And wish nothing but the best for him, except for this week.
And Nick Anderson.
I was just talking to Nick the other day. I'm still in contact with him. He's one of my best buds, and so I told him that it's going to be fun going against them. So it's always fun out there playing with his friends. Definitely going to be a full circle moment. We was talking to Nick the other day, like we said, and just glad to come see him be back down here, and I'm just happy to see him again.
But in the end, if OU can do their jobs and get it done, they'll certainly give fans of the Crimson and Cream something to be thankful for. Reporting from the Union, Darby McCormick, Gameday U.
Thanks, Darby. This season, the Sooners have almost an entirely new wide receiver room, and one guy has made his mark being the spark for this Crimson and Cream offense. Our own Landon Thomas has more on OU's dual athlete star.
That's right, Cam. For a bottom five offense in the SEC, someone who has been a bright spot is junior wide receiver Isaiah Satania. He has 827 receiving yards on the season, fourth most in the SEC, and is coming off a game where he had an 87-yard touchdown, which is the third longest reception ever by a Sooner at Owen Field.
We created some space, and the thing about man coverage, it's a very tough defense. That's why a lot of people do it. But if you don't stay locked on your man, there's not a lot of humans that come make a tackle from somewhere else. So it was a great job by Isaiah and all the other receivers executing the play. Really good job by John standing in there delivering the throw, and then Isaiah just turned on the burners and going up the sidelines.
Really good design, Arbuckle and came up with, and we got man like we wanted, and I knew there was a backer underneath I had to navigate, and I did it. Luckily put it on his nose, and he was able to run.
When Isaiah gets out like that.
Oh, bye. See ya. He's really fast.
I mean, end of the season, a lot of people are banged up, both sides of the ball, so just got to do what we can to win the game, It doesn't got to be pretty, but, it just got to come 1-0. I mean, every time I touch the ball, I expect a touchdown, so, that's what I expected. I feel like it was pretty important. Scoring a touchdown is always important, so, helped us get the win.
Satania needs 73 yards against LSU to become the first Sooner since Drake Stoops back in 2023 to have a 900 receiving yard season. It'll be a tough task, though. The most receiving yards a player has recorded against LSU all year was Jeremy Bernard with 79. Back to you, Cam.
Thanks, Landon. When we come back, we'll have more on this 2:30 matchup with LSU. Stick around for more Game Day U.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
Welcome back to Game Day U. Even though LSU hasn't had the season they wanted after firing Brian Kelly mid-season and benching quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, the Tigers will still be looking to end the season on a high note. Our own Andrew West was at SEC Media Days and has more on the Bayou Bengals.
I'm Andrew West here at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. The last two times OU and LSU met on the gridiron, the headlines were all about the Tigers combining for over 700 yards and 10 touchdowns in the air, 7 of those courtesy of the man right behind me. LSU looks to continue their winning streak against the Sooners as they head into Norman for the first time in program history.
That place gets rocking, so I love playing in the biggest stadiums, and that's one that I'm looking forward to.
The trip to Norman may be the first time an LSU uniform has touched Owen Field, but for former Sooners Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp, it's a homecoming.
Bauer and Nick have done an unbelievable job, getting mixed in with the guys now. And I tell people all the time, not only has it helped with us having these transfers and trying to make them close with everybody and make them feel welcome, it's also made the returners closer too.
Bauer Sharp got an early welcome to the team after he threw a pick to LSU last season while he was still in the Crimson and Cream. And it's safe to say his new teammates won't let him forget it.
I had a TikTok pop up on my For You page the other day of him throwing the pick. I sent it straight to him. It's funny. Sometimes we tell him he did it on purpose because he knew he was coming here.
While the storylines of this game may be fun, LSU's looking to replicate the 20-point win they had over the Sooners last season, but they know that walking out of Norman with a win won't be easy.
The offensive line is very physical, and that they make it. Offensive lines that are physical makes it fun to play.
Reporting from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, I'm Andrew West, Game Day U.
Great work, Andrew. Now, if you like defense, this game might be for you. LSU is ranked second to last in the SEC behind only Florida in scoring offenses. They average only 22 points a game, Michael.
Well, this game has the potential to be ugly, Cam. Both teams have at least 75 penalties on the season so far. You can count how many Oklahoma have had that have just been stupid. You could fill over 13 football fields with the amount of penalty yards that these teams have racked up. Composure could make Selection Sunday a successful one for the Sooners.
Very creative stat you got there, Michael. Well, we all know LSU has been struggling this season, but only getting one touchdown and winning by a field goal against Western Kentucky took me by surprise. It's going to be a bloodbath for the Tigers against this OU defense. I have the Sooners by 14.
A bloodbath is right, Hallie. Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp, one beloved former Sooner and one that's a little more complicated. They have combined for just 35 catches and less than 400 yards on the season. It'll be an emotional one for the two, but this game may get ugly quick, especially when Reggie Powers returns to the secondary in the second half after being ejected against Missouri last Saturday. Lane Train can't save you just yet. If it ever will, he's going to Florida.
Now let's take a look at the SEC slate of games for Week 14 of the 2025 season, as this year's Sunshine State Showdown features a rare matchup of losing records. Florida enters the game at 3-8, while Florida State is 5-6. Horrible for the two. The bitter rivals have split the last 4 games in the Swamp, and the Seminoles haven't won a road game in almost 2 years, Michael.
They call it the Battle Line rivalry, but Mizzou has beaten Arkansas the past 3 seasons, and that streak will probably continue, along with Arkansas's losing streak extending to 10.
Well, Auburn disappointed this year, especially Jackson Arnold, but they could spoil Alabama's year. They say Jordan Hare is cursed, and Bama might be cursed in more ways than one. Let's say they beat Auburn, but lose the SEC championship. They would have 3 losses, but one being a championship game loss. The committee would have a tough choice to make, just like last year, putting the Tide in or out.
Diego Pavia is undoubtedly going to have a statue built after him in Nashville, and hey, maybe even the stadium will be renamed to Pavia Park or something. I don't know, but Vanderbilt hits the road to Knoxville this weekend. The over-under for this game should be about, 110. Vandy's going to head to Knoxville, take down the Vols for the first time since 2017.
Now, Andrew, I'll have my eyes on that Iron Bowl showdown for sure. When Gameday U returns, we're back talking about the Sooners and things to watch for against LSU.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills. Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Welcome back to Gameday U. Now it's time for us to break down some of the things the Sooners need to focus on to get a win versus LSU. Up first, if the Sooners want any chance in this game and for further down the line, they have to shore up this running back situation. Xavier Robinson has been the bell cow back for the majority of the season, but he's been banged up the last couple of games, and he has had to play through little to no help from his counterparts in the backfield. Torrey Blaylock, Jaden Ott, and Taylor Tatum all need to step up to help this running game succeed in the near future.
Well, if it wasn't clear already, it should be now. The Oklahoma games are not pleasing to watch. You are correct, Cam. OU's run game is almost as bad as playing back-to-back schools with Tiger as their mascot. But to counter their challenge of running, they do not allow the other team to run. They held him on Hardy to less than 60 yards, which is very impressive. LSU is 122nd in rushing offense. OU's rushing defense, 3rd in the nation. They are going to be able to do anything in the run game. LSU season ended a while ago, but OU will make Bowerstrap regret leaving.
Michael, OU's wide receivers have had a couple impressive moments, but it's not a consistent receiving room to say the least. Isaiah Satania has had 3 games where he had over 100 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns all season. Deion Burks hasn't had the season that was expected with only 2 touchdowns. LSU has a stacked defensive backfield with guys like Mansour Delane and DJ Pickett. John Mateer will have to find a connection with the receivers to score against the Tigers, especially if the Sooners can't get their run game going.
We all know this offense won't light up any scoreboards. What they will get the job done with a little help from the defense. Yes, one of Oklahoma's 2 touchdowns was an 87-yard house call. I shot this video, by the way. It's like if Mozart had a camera. But if the Sooners want to punch their playoff ticket and make it past the first round, they got to play their own game. Dominate on defense, force some turnovers, and give the offense a short field. They may not get into the end zone, but they have a weapon at kicker that can make anything his heart desires.
Yeah, Andrew, now over the course of the season, that has seemed to be the recipe for success for the Sooners this season. Coming up after the break, we'll have some new faces on set, and they're ready to make some bold predictions for this weekend's games.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Welcome back to Gameday U, where some new faces are here in studio and they're ready to give their bold predictions for this 14th rivalry weekend of college football. Joining me are Landon Thomas, Gracie Stubblefield, and Chris Holman. Up first, number 1 Ohio State at number 18 Michigan, and it's in the big house, folks. And this game always lives up to the hype. Landon, who comes out with the win?
Cam, you're right. The hype is high, but listen, I know the Buckeyes have lost the last 4 to Michigan and are on the road, but Ohio State has a chip on their shoulder, and combine that with a defense that has allowed the least amount of yards per game in college football. Give me the Buckeyes by 2+ touchdowns.
I'm going to agree with you, Landon. The Buckeyes haven't lost since their showdown against the Wolverines last year, and they'll be looking for revenge, especially with such a strong defense. It'll be a tough matchup, but Ohio State is number 1 for a reason.
I don't know what world the two of you are living in. Michigan has the 10th best rushing offense in the nation. Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes both have over 850 yards and 10 touchdowns so far this season. I think that duo will lead the Wolverines over the Buckeyes for the 5th year in a row.
Chris, I like that pick a lot. Next, Dan Lanning and Dante Moore, they lead their Duck squad on the road versus the Huskies, and it's in Washington. Landon, who gets the W?
Cam, I don't know what's to like about that pick from Chris, but people are going to be surprised with how close this game really is going to be, as it's going to be a game focused on the rushing attack. The Ducks rush for an average of 228 yards per game. Meanwhile, Washington allows 103 yards on the ground. Oregon is going to literally run away with this one.
Just when I thought we were getting along, Washington's offense has been producing at home, scoring at least 30 points a game, not counting their loss at Husky Stadium to Ohio State. This will be a big test for the Huskies with the Ducks waddling in, but I think they'll be able to stay above water.
I have to disagree with you on this one, Gracie. Dante Moore has the 4th best completion percentage in all the NCAA, throwing to weapons like Kenyon Sadiq, Decorian Moore, and Malik Benson. I think the Ducks fly high over the Huskies.
Now, guys, in that game, I'm siding with the Oregon crowd on that one. The Iron Bowl is next in Jordan-Hare this year, with Bama coming to town, and they're looking to spook Auburn's new star, Deuce Knight. Landon, what's the verdict in this game?
Cam, the verdict is that Bama is fighting for a college football playoff spot. Meanwhile, Auburn is fighting for a mere bowl game. Yes, I do know this is the Iron Bowl, and especially at Jordan-Hare Stadium, that anything can happen, but go ahead and give me the good old Roll Tide in this one by 2+ touchdowns.
Landon, I completely agree. Alabama has only lost one conference game this year, and I don't think they're willing to lose another one, especially to Auburn. The Crimson Tide has a lot riding on this game, and with Ty Simpson leading them, I think they'll be able to take down the Tigers.
You two are both wrong yet again. I have 4 words for you this time. Jordan-Hare at night. I know Auburn hasn't looked pretty, but I think the wide receiver duo of Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton is going to be too tough for the Crimson Tide to stop.
Guys, lastly, a win from the Sooners, and they all but clinch a college football playoff spot when LSU comes to the Palace for the last game of the regular season. Landon, who wins?
Chris, if you can't agree with us here, you might as well get offset. OU has been one of the best defenses in all of college football and have causing defensive chaos all year. Meanwhile, the Tigers have a bottom 3 offense in the SEC. Sooners win and get back into the college football playoffs for the first time since 2019.
I know I agree. I just hope that Chris does too. All OU needs to do is beat LSU to lock in a playoff spot. And while I'm not completely confident in their offense, this Sooner defense should be enough to send the Tigers packing. I'm taking OU in the 405 to finish the season out strong.
We are finally all going to agree on something. I know OU's offense hasn't looked pretty, but the team is playing complementary football. If 17 points was enough to get the win over Missouri, they will be just fine against an LSU team that could only put up 13 against Western Kentucky.
Now, guys, give me a little insight on who you guys think will be this week's Sooner MVPs.
Cam, we talked about him earlier in the show. Isaiah Satania is a superstar in the making, had a great game against Missouri last week, and I think he's going to find the end zone again this week against LSU.
Like I said earlier, the defense is vital for this game. If Eli Bowen picks off LSU, I don't see why the Sooners can't stay on top.
Cam, I'm going to have to go with Taylor Wine. He has been playing lights out and is coming off of an SEC Defensive Player of the Week, and I think he continues his play when the Bayou Bengals come into town.
Chris, I'm going to go with that reigning SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week, Grayson Halton. And now it sounds like a lot of good games to look out for this weekend. This wraps our regular season coverage of OU football. We appreciate Sooner fans and everyone for following along with us throughout the fall as we brought you all the sights and sounds of Oklahoma football right here in Norman and on the road. Thanks for watching Gameday U, where it always just means more. For Landon Thomas, Gracie Stubblefield, and Chris Holman, I'm Cam Williams, and for one last time, have a great Sooner game day.